Good morning, students. This side, Dinesh Bhagat, Senior Lecturer in Architecture from Government Polytechnic College for Girls. My today's topic is lighting integration. Previously, we had covered acoustics, and second part is the lighting. Today, we'll be dealing with the lighting and the lighting part. And under lighting, we'll try to cover the basic topics which we will be covering. What exactly the lighting is, brief outline, then why lighting, the types of lighting, sources of light, light fixtures, energy consumption, then particularly with respect to architecture and interiors, building lighting, and that kind of topics. All these will be covered under this lecture. So, just to begin, what is the brief outline? What is the brief outline? Lighting or illumination is deliberate use of light to achieve a practical or aesthetic effect. Lighting includes the source of both artificial light sources like lamps and light fixtures, as well as natural illumination by capturing daylight. So it's like lighting में हमारे आर्टिफिशियल लाइटिंग भी आ जाएगी, हमारी जो नॉर्मल डे लाइट है कि सनलाइट है वो भी उसी का पार्ट है. So we have to correlate both the things, and how well we correlate, that is what the lighting and illumination part is. Illumination will be mainly into the interiors, and lighting includes interiors, exteriors, and everything. So it's like if at all it's exteriors, it has to be like daylighting. And how is daylighting? Daylighting using windows, skylights, or light shelves, anything like whatsoever a room. If a room is having certain number of windows, either a skylight or any kind of a light source, so which is used as main source of the light during the daytime for the buildings. So this can save energy in place of using artificial lighting, the daylighting. What I mean to say is daylighting can save energy in place of using artificial lighting, which represents a major component of the energy consumption in the building. Proper lighting can enhance the task performance, improve the appearance of an area, or have positive psychological effects on the occupants. So if a particular room, if a particular living area, habitable room, whatsoever is it, if it is having proper light, so it will definitely improve our working environment. So we have to achieve that kind of environment by placing the windows in a particular direction. Supposing, just to begin, for example, if like we students are working in a school or a college or a polytechnic, where you need to have light. The light in the classroom or studios or drawing halls will be from north. So we need north light in a classroom, and moreover that lighting that shouldn't be either from the back side, or it shouldn't be from the back side. I mean, if a student is sitting or the teacher is standing, it shouldn't be from the back side. It should come from left or right of the desk. If a student is studying, the light should fall from the left hand side or from the right hand side. If it is from the back, from the rear, so it will create glare onto our blackboard, and definitely student or the user, whosoever is the user in the classroom, will not be able to see what exactly it is. Then we'll try to discuss what exactly the types of lighting are. There are basically three types of lighting. The one is general, task, and accent lighting. So we'll take every part one by one and try to discuss it in more detail. So what will be, first of all, what will be general lighting? General lighting, it is sometimes referred as ambient light. It fills in between the two and is intended for general illumination of an area. The general illumination, the minimum light which is required for a particular room, be it a residential, be it a commercial, whatsoever is it. Like if we are studying building bylaws or any other topic, we need to have a minimum, say it says that 15 to 20% of area should be given for windows. So that is the minimum kind of area which has to be given even for the windows and for your ventilation. So that serves that serves at basic minimum light and it illuminates the area. Like daylight illuminates the area, and if at all during the evenings or the day or at the night time we are going to have artificial lights. So indoors it will be basic lamp or a table or a fixture or in the ceiling, any kind of a thing. So indoor lighting, it will be a lamp, table on floor, or a table or a fixture in the ceiling, or cove lighting, any kind of things. So those will be your interior lightings. So what will be the outdoor or general lighting? Like if at all it's in the morning time, you need to have, it's the sunlight which glows up everything. But supposing in a parking area, if we are going to have something like vehicles and everything, then again we are going to have poles and lights which will be lighting up that particular area. So outdoor general lighting for a parking lot may be as low as 10 to 20 lux, 1 to 2 wood candles. So lux is the unit which will be, it's the measuring unit which defines how much light should be how much light should be there in a particular situation, in a particular room, in a particular parking area, or at a particular place. So that way the parking will be like 10 to 20 lux, since pedestrians and motorists already used to dark will need little light. So those pedestrians and motor vehicle fellows are already in dark, and they will need very little light. And moreover, they have the lights of their own vehicles, what you call as headlights or headlamps or the parking lights. So that's why that the lighting in that particular area in the parking or in the outdoors, it's bit low, or it's like 10 to 20 lux in that particular areas in the the other part is what we call as accent lighting. So accent lighting is mainly the decorative lighting intended to highlight pictures, plants and other elements of design, interiors and landscape. Like in a room, in a home, or these are the two pictures which are highlighting some lights. Like we are having a painting on the wall, and then again some sort of table lamp, then a light at the back of our bed, some lightings, cove lightings and recessed lightings to highlight particular themes, architectural themes, interior themes in a particular room, interiors, and then into restaurants and that kind of things. So that kind of lighting is your accent lighting. So it is mainly for the decorative, then picture plants and interior design and the landscaping. So that way we guys are using like different types of lamps. It can be CFL, it can be LED, or even those normal lamps. Normally in today's trend we guys are using LEDs and other low emission lamps which are not high on power consumption. So that way that kind of light, it will be called accent lighting. Then we have a task lighting. The third one, it is task lighting. What is task lighting? Task lighting is like, it is mainly task lighting is mainly functional and is usually the most concentrated purposes such as reading or inspection of materials. Light required on a particular place. For example, reading, poor quality reproductions may require task lighting levels. If you are sitting in a library and you have a very old book or which has a very, very small fonts, you need some extra lights or that kind of things. So we need more light and more focus at a particular place just to highlight it. So that kind of lighting is called task lighting. So in a task lighting, our lighting levels can go up to 1200 to 1500 lux. It's comparatively very high. So these kind of lightings are also required like in an operation theater or in surgical rooms where intricate detailing is required, how a doctor or a physician is performing at a particular patient, and we need higher levels and higher lux levels for the lighting. So that kind of lighting will be termed as task lighting. Even at places like in residential areas, or if just to highlight, if in a kitchen, like we the ladies or the housekeepers who are working in a kitchen, we are having light under the cabinets, and that light falls on our shelf, and one is able to work on a cooking platform. We have a space of around 2 to 2.5 feet, like 600 to 700 mm, and this lighting directs onto our kitchen area. So why this kind of lighting is required in kitchen? Because if we are having a lighting on the top, supposing normally the lighting is onto the walls or onto the ceiling, a person standing over there, his shadow will be onto the shelf, and you will not be able to work. So in this particular situation, we need this lighting under this cabinets, and these cabinets will be lighting our will be lighting up our entire cooking platform, and the house lady or the worker in the kitchen will be much more comfortable as compared to the lighting from the wall or the ceiling. Because lighting from the walls or ceiling, you will have reflection onto that particular cooking platform, and this may not result in best working environments. So just to achieve the best working environments, we need to have task lightings in the kitchen, or maybe like there's one more example in a jewelry showroom. We need to have task lightings onto the display areas where we are going to display diamonds or very high quality intricate jewelry, maybe diamonds, platinum or gold kind of a things. So we need lighting from the top, even from the bottom, and we are highlighting only onto our jewelry part. The small intricate details are highlighted by this task lighting. So even in certain cases, like if a person is sitting into a bedroom, you have a very uh, old book where the font is very small, or for reading purpose we may need a lamp kind of a thing which will highlight our fonts and everything. Even this will be considered as a task lighting. So just to sum up, the task lighting will be like anything which needs to be concentrated, and where our illumination levels increase considerably, like up to 1200 to 1500 lux. So that will be considered in task lighting. Now we'll try to discuss what are the different sources of light. First of all, it's like the daylight. How much daylight reaches inside a building depends upon the amount and direction of sunlight, cloud cover, local train, and the season. Supposing if it's a rainy season, definitely you guys are going to have lesser amount of sunlight. If it's June, July, like into we guys are into tropical belt, our Punjab and this northern part, we are into the tropical belt where the temperature variation is from 0 degree to 45 degrees. Like in December it may go up to 1 degree, 2 degree or 0 degrees, and in summers it goes up to 42 to 45 degrees. So it's a tropical belt. In that case, the lighting or the illumination from the daylight, it varies from 0 degrees to 45 degrees. So at times, maybe in summers we might be requiring more daylight, in winters we might be requiring more daylight, and in summers we need to control that daylight in a particular situation. So as well as that means, as well as the size, orientation and cleanliness of windows is more important. If you are having more clean windows in a particular direction, so you will be having more lighting. If your windows has like more of louvers and that kind of thing, you will be having a little lesser amount of light. The amount of daylight entering the workplace can be controlled with this tinted glass. If you are having this colored glass, tinted glass, and even blinds, curtains, awnings, which we guys are normally having in our residential, commercial and every place. And daylight is desirable in the working place providing it does not cause glare or make the work area too bright. So daylight is very much required in any, maybe it's residential, it's commercial, is it institutional. We need to have that daylight in a particular direction so that it does not create glare. Supposing into an, as I have already discussed, into an institutional areas, we need not have glares. The light source, the daylight should not come from the back of the blackboard or from exactly opposite side. It should be from the sides. It should be from the left side of the student or from the right side where a particular fellow is sitting. Then what else are the we were discussing the sources of the light. The first one is the daylight. Then we have the electric lighting. The amount of light, the color of the light itself and color that objects appear vary with the type of electric lighting. The lighting must match with the workplace and task. There will be some types of bulbs and everything. What will be more important, the types of bulbs which will be CFL or even halogen lightings and that kind of things. So here even the color scheme of a particular room will matter a lot. Like if you are having dark colors, it tends to absorb more light. The lighter colors, the white colors, the pinkish or the cream ones, they tend to reflect. So even if a particular light is there with a particular color scheme, the lighting level may vary with different colors. If it's with a light color, your lux level of the room will increase. But if it's a blackish or a bluish kind of a shade, your lux level will definitely decrease and the lighting will suffer. In that particular case, the lighting in that particular room with the dark, it tends to absorb. Even the buildings with the darker shades, they tend to absorb more light, heat and radiation. So we need to control our lighting and colors of our interiors and exteriors of the building, so that which can make the difference even into the thermal insulation and overall appearance of the building, overall appearance and usage of that particular building. Like we might be requiring dark colors in Arctic or Antarctic areas where the temperature is below 0 degrees. It's already in minus. Like in Western countries, UK, Canada, we are already having dark colored buildings. They have very bright and fluorescent color buildings. But into our tropical belt, we guys tend to have a very balanced kind of a color scheme. But into the Western world, where the temperature falls below say around -5, -10, 15, 20, even in Russia where it goes up to -30, 40 degrees. So there we are having dark colors. So the lighting and everything, that all depends on to that color and everything. So why will be our lighting important? We'll try to discuss this. Whether in industrial or office setting, proper lighting makes all work tasks easier. People receive about 85% of their information through the sense of light. If there is adequate light, so almost 85% job is done. That are in other words, that it makes the task easier. That 85% of the information to the sense of light. Say we are seeing a particular thing where if it's a dark, if it's light, it will be purely on our sense of sight. And approximate lighting without glare or shadow can reduce eye fatigue. If you are having more of shadow, you'll have to put more fatigue on your eyes and even your eyes. You might be requiring, if you are working in a underlit areas, you might be having a problem of eyesight where you will be requiring specs for particular works. So it highlights moving machinery and other safety hazards. It also reduces the chances of accidents and injuries from momentary blindness, while the eyes adjust to brighter or darker surroundings. If a particular area is overlit, in that case your brightness will be more. You will have to adjust your eye level or everything. Supposing in a very it's a very live example, in case of a computer or in case of a TV or a LCD, if it's more bright, we have to adjust and we are not able to see the figures and everything. So the lighting, that way the lighting is more important. So the other is the ability to see at work depends not on the lighting, but even on some of the few facts which we'll be discussing here. The time to focus on an object, how much time a particular human require to focus on a particular object. Like fast moving objects are hard to see. Supposing you are onto a road and you have a fast moving object, it's a bike, it's a car, and it's moving very fast, it's very difficult to see. Then again, if the object is very small, the size of the object, like any object which is very small, we have to concentrate with the sharp eyes and they are even hard to see. So that kind of things do also matter. Then you have brightness and the contrast, which I have already discussed. Like too much of bright rooms or too much of bright objects, too much or too little reflected light make objects hard to see. Then again, the other is like contrast between an object and its immediate background. Like if there are two objects in a particular room, and one is dark, one is light, and if that contrast is good, like the dark and light, it works well. If both the items, if the background is dark and even the object lying onto the front side is again dark, then you will have to focus more, you will have to work more on your eyesight and lightings, even on the eyesight and the lighting part, to highlight that particular object in that particular situation. That means too little contrast makes it hard to distinguish an object from the background. If you have a dark background and then again a dark object, and there is not much of a contrast, so this will make you difficult to get onto it, to see that particular object. Now we'll try to discuss what are the different types of light fixtures which have been designed to distribute light in different ways. So first will be like direct, then we have direct, indirect, and then we have shielded. We'll try to discuss all these one by one. No single type of light fixture is appropriate in every situation. Like if we are in an open area, we need a different kind of a light fixture. If we are into the interiors, we need a different kind of a light fixture. We are into the interiors, but again that area is opening up into green lawns or outer areas. That particular area is having access to the outdoors with the green areas. In that case, the lighting will be different. That means the amount and quality of lighting required for a particular scene or a particular workstation will determine which light fixture is suitable. So what is our in other words, what is the particular room and what is the particular task which we are going to do in a particular location. So that is going to determine our lighting fixture. So in that case, the lighting fixtures, if at all the task is, supposing if somebody is doing a very intricate mechanical job of repairing a watch, or somebody is repairing a mobile phone, where he needs very intricate lighting at a very small scale, where he has to work on mm's, or maybe in the into even fractions or lesser known dimensions. So he will be needing much more task lighting, much more concentrated lights in a particular situation. Now we'll try to discuss the different, like as we have discussed, the direct, indirect, and the shielding and the shielded ones. The first one is direct light fixtures. Direct light fixtures are direct lighting which tends to create shadow. A light, this kind of a light which is put up in the ceiling, maybe a tube or a CFL or any halogen kind of a bulb which is put up, and it it basically it's directly on your head, and it creates more of a shadow. Even in outside, like in daylight, if sun is above, you will be having shadows. If sun is on your top, your shadows will be smaller. Like in the morning and the evenings, our shadows will be longer. So in that case, it's a direct light. Either it's daylight, or if it's in interiors, it's a direct light fixture where it tends to create shadows. Only thing is, we need to control the location of our direct light fixtures. If it's onto the head, we'll be having smaller shadows. If it's onto the wall or at an angle, it will be having more longer shadows and that kind of things, which might be required in particular cases. Okay? That might be required in some particular cases, but not every case. It might be required, like if at all some sort of on an auditorium where a play is going and you need to highlight a particular scene with by overletting the areas, and that particular set or that particular scene has to be highlighted. In that case, we need that kind of a lighting. The second part will be our direct indirect light fixtures. What are direct and indirect light fixtures? That distribute light equally upwards and downwards. They reflect light off to the ceiling and to the other room surfaces. Little light is emitted horizontally, meaning direct glare is reduced. The best part of this kind of a fixture is that we are reducing the glare. Glare is a major part in a particular location, in a particular scene, in a particular room. So we need to avoid glare. So here with this kind of fixture, direct, indirect light fixtures, we reduce our glare, and they are usually used in clean manufacturing areas, where it's in a factory or into a manufacturing areas where no glare is required. That kind of light fixtures, or into the hospitals, into dispensaries, these kind of lightings are often required in those kind of locations. Then another option is indirect light fixtures. What are indirect light fixtures? Indirect light fixtures distribute 90 to 100% of the light upwards. Here light won't be coming down, here it will be reflecting back or up. The ceiling and upper walls must be clean and highly reflective to allow the light to reach the work area. In other words, we are highlighting our walls. So we are putting a lighting at the floor and highlighting our wall. If we want to highlight the exteriors of the building, at times we have seen buildings being highlighted by outdoor lighting. These indirect light fixtures, the ancient buildings, like even at times our Rashtrapati Bhavan, Taj Mahal, or even White House, the US presidential house, it is being lit by indirect light fixtures. We are having these kind of fixtures and illuminations at lower level, and they reflect everything up, and everything up. It can be, it's not for suitable for, it's not even for the building, it can be even for the work areas. In a particular location, if at all we need lighting in a work area from